Guys, they said Ebony allegedly ran to the king in tears. And according to the information, they said she have gone to tell the king that her business is at the verge of collapsing because of the king. Remember that this is the business that she have been trying to fix ever since she returned, because maybe she thought that being around the king will favor her marriage more than it was while she was in the UK. Even though ever since she come back, we have been hearing one problem or the other, and a lot of things has happened from what we are hearing. No, that is if everything we are hearing is the truth. They said everybody started an accounting business, an accounting firm. When she wanted to start that business, she wanted to use a whole building, and they charge her 180 million for 2 years rent, and the king refused to pay that money, telling her that if you want to start a business, you have the money of your own, then people will support you. You don't depend on people wholly for a new business. And again, the king also gave her some business idea, because I believe that the king knew business more than she. Yes, they said the king told her that, look, if you really want to do this business, what you must know is that you cannot rent a whole building now that you are just starting. What if you are unable to pay the next year? Am I going to continue paying for your rent when you are doing business? And that's why you should consider getting a flat. When you get that flat, you can start with a flat. After all, it's not small, it's not that small, you know. Then from what you are making there, you can now decide to go for a building, and better still buy a building, not renting, because giving someone 180 million on 2 years rent is too much. How much profit are you making from that business? So the king advised her all of this. Maybe at the end of the day, she decided to accept the king's advice. Maybe probably not because she wanted to make, is maybe it would be because the king refused to give her the 180 million that she requested for a whole building. So they said she have started that business. Then Kabiesi's name was one of the shareholders that she wrote there, you know. So when the king, Igbi started confessing how they dealt with the jewel, what they did to her and everything, and Ebony's name was involved, the king became angry and decided that his name should be withdrawn. As a matter of fact, they said he withdrew his name from Ebony's business list, and that business is just about to start it has just started flourishing small small. And you know that the king's influence is also helping it to grow. Some people came into that business because of the king's name. They want to invest where people that are very good in business invested. So they said Ebony's business was doing somehow well before the king now remove uh, his name. And when the king removed his name from the business, Ebony was hot, too hot. And right now, information have it that some other notable people who entered, who became shareholder of that business because of the king, have decided to withdraw, because they believe that there must be something that have made the king to withdraw, you know. So, and this is seriously affecting Ebony. They said a lot of notable people who came there because of the influence of the king have decided to withdraw, and it is affecting the business, because the business, they said, is going down fast, as in faster than she can imagine. And that was how they said Ebony went to the king in tears. They said she was on her knees begging the king, asking the king, why did you withdraw your name from my business list? What have I done? They said, that her major problem is that she can never accept responsibility or take responsibility for her actions. She will always want to look for a way to push it, or look for someone to blame for her actions and everything. But they said she was begging and crying to the king, telling the king to please do something, that the king should not fold his arms and watch her business collapse like that the business is at the verge of collapsing all these are alleged information, don't forget, okay? So they say she had been crying, and a lot of people are saying, oh, you are about to lose your own and you are crying. What about the maidens that you made to lose their job the other day? They lost their job and you couldn't even compensate them with anything. Remember that they said the day that Ebony went to three rivers that is surrounding Ocean to do some rituals, crying to the gods, the river goddess, to help her wash away her shame in the palace, because according to her, she's no longer recognized as she used to. Adetutu have taken her shine away from her, because they said it's Adetutu that is doing most of the rituals for the king. Even the day they said Adetutu was not around, because they said she went to UK to do one or two things. The king did not even call Ebony. Even when Ebony is right there in the palace, they said the king went and brought one small girl like that is still learning work, to come and do that ritual for the jewel. So to tell you that Ebony's services is like they are no longer needed in the palace. And you know that these are the things that keeps her relevant, or more important than others in that palace, due to the nature of the palace. So they said when she find out that things are no longer favoring her, nothing is moving in her favor again, she went to the stream. She went to those rivers to do those sacrifices. Then that day that they are supposed to do the sacrifice, they said there are certain rituals that they are doing in the palace, especially in preparation for the Ofarende ritual. So Ebony took two maidens, either two or three maidens, along with her to that rivers, and those maidens are supposed to stand by in the palace to help in the rituals. When the king asked of them, he was told that they followed their bunny to the stream and everything. And that was how they lost their job, because they are supposed to obey the king's instruction. They said the message was passed to them before that Ebony's own, to stay around and prepared for the Ofarande process and everything. But Ebony chose to take them to the stream. And when they lost their job, because they said the king got angry and fired them, Ebony could not even compensate them. That was how they lost everything. And now Ebony's business is shaking, almost at the verge of collapse, according to what we are hearing, if the information is true. And she is running helter-skelter, begging the king to do something. Whereas she couldn't even do anything for the people that she caused them to lose their job in the palace. See this life, no balance. Anyway, guys, that is what we are hearing, if the information is true. I want to remind you that these are all alleged, unverified information making rounds on social media and shouldn't be seen as fact unless you verify them. Okay? Always bear that in mind. I do not live in the palace. Bye for now. Love you.